Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart. Both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Bethany's Sin by Robert McCammon. If that will ever come into focus. There we go. And let's zoom out a little bit so we can see the full cover, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. This book came out in 1980, and it's got just a great looking 1980s horror novel font for Bethany's Sin, and then Robert McCammon's name also in the same font. Then we've got this great painting by none other than the great 1970s and 80s illustrator Rowena Morrill. And actually she did about the first 10 Robert McCammon books back in the day, covers for him. So anyway, her other claim to fame was when they stormed Saddam Hussein's palace in Iraq. They found dozens of Rowena Morrill paintings because apparently Saddam Hussein was her biggest fan. Anyway, this is Robert McCammon's second ever published novel. I think it was the third one he actually wrote, but the second one that got published. I might have that wrong. This might be the third one he got published, the second one he ever wrote. Either way, it's one of the early novels in his career. And in the introduction to this book, he says, where do his ideas come from? He's like, well, the idea for this book was simple. I was driving through my town. For my whole life, I've driven through my same hometown. And there's been this building. And it was a big building. And it was simply called the Woman's Club. He's like, and it sat there forever with that sign out front saying the Woman's Club. I've never seen anybody come in or out of it. I've never seen any groundskeepers taking care of the grounds, although the grounds look immaculate. He's like, it's been in existence my whole life, and I've never seen a human being in it, or around it, or near it, or coming to or from it. He's like, so that was the early stages of this novel. He's like, what's going on? Let's jump to the prologue of this novel, set in 1965. Near the Black Sea, there's an archaeologist digging up. Kind of reminded me of his opening to Baal, where the archaeologists are digging something out of the earth and they unleash demons. It's kind of what happens. Then we have a second prologue, also set in the 1960s, and this time in the Vietnam War. There's an American prisoner of war. He's being held captive, and there's a female Vietnamese soldier that comes and tortures him from time to time by using female spiders. You know, the type of spider, like the black widow spiders, the type of female spiders that kill their mates after they have sex with them. It's kind of a theme of this book now. And so now we need to look a little closer at the cover is of a woman, a demonic woman, riding a horse. There's a town in the background, a demon skull in the moon. It's all starting to come together now because we jumped to 1980. And I was in the mood for a 1980s fantasy, so I'm glad we jumped to the 80s. Good 1980s horror stories are always good. There's a man, he's not named, but there's about 3 or 4 pages describing him in his house alone with flickering lights. He senses there's something outside. Of course, he does what everybody would do when they're alone in their house and things are weird, and especially if you start hearing things in the basement, especially if your power gets cut out, he goes directly down into the cellar. Yeah, he makes that move. Once he gets down into the cellar, he's immediately killed by a double-bladed battle axe that was being wielded by an Amazonian demon woman. And then we jump to our main characters. So we got those 3 prologues. Now we jump to our main characters. Evan, he's the father. Kay, the mother. and Lori, the little kid, and of course, let's not leave out Miss Prissy the cat. You know, everybody knows my cat's name is Pretty Miss Kitty, so when I saw Robert McCammon name the cat Miss Prissy, I was like, close enough, close enough. So anyway, these three characters are moving into the town of Bethany's Sin. So I thought Bethany's Sin was going to be about some girl named Bethany and her sinning. No, the actual name of the town is Bethany's Sin, which is the name of the book. And Robert McCammon just does a great job, a perfect job of describing this almost perfect, idyllic town. I mean, down to how gorgeous the streets are and how clean it is and how all this stuff is going on. And then also there's a women's club building. So anyway, our main man, Evan, the father, he suffers PTSD because he was a soldier in Vietnam. Remember, this takes place in 1980. Vietnam War ended in 73, so this guy would be about the right age to be a Vietnam vet. He suffers PTSD and he has these weird dreams. Oddly enough, those dreams are about an archaeology dig in the Black Sea that unleashes demons from the ground, a Vietnamese prisoner, a Vietnamese woman who's torturing American soldiers with spiders, and Amazonian warrior women with battle axes. He has these weird dreams, and he tries to tell his wife about them, and she's just like, "Ah, man, maybe you just need to see a therapist or something." And anyway, another character we get is Oren Weisinger, of course, the sheriff of the town. He starts to investigate murders because things are going on. People are dying. This town, this idyllic town of Bethany's Sin, might not be as idyllic as it seems, especially considering all of the Amazonian warrior women with their fire-edged swords and battle axes riding demon steeds through the streets of the town, slaughtering everybody, plus the pagan witchcraft and occult human sacrifice. Other than that, Bethany's Sin is a beautiful place to live. That's pretty much the plot. That's pretty much it. I mean, I pretty much gave it away. The plot is a town is being haunted by pagan witchcraft that has risen up from the underworld. And now they have to all fight it. And do they all survive? It's gory. It's bloody fun. It's just bloody fun. It's like a horror novel. This is your quintessential 1980s horror novel. And it's great because it was written by Robert McCammon. And there's just some great passages, some poignant passages, some great dialogue, some bits of description that are just absolutely out of this world. So I was pleasantly surprised with how much I liked this. Bethany's Sin. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. So great rating for one of his earlier novels. Superb.